On Christmas Day, my parents banned my 2-month-old daughter from our family dinner. I didn't stay silent. On Christmas morning, my parents looked me in the eye and said my 2-month-old daughter wasn't allowed in their house. I thought it was a health rule, until my mom admitted the real reason, and it made my stomach drop. Names changed for privacy. Here's what happened. My name is Hannah. I'm 29 years old, and I grew up in a family where Christmas wasn't just a holiday, it was a performance. Matching pajamas, matching plates, the same songs at the same time, the same jokes, the same photos. If you missed Christmas at my parents' house, you weren't busy. You were ungrateful. My parents are the type who love tradition, but not the warm, flexible kind, the controlling kind, the kind where tradition is really just authority wearing tinsel. I married my husband, Eli, 30M, 3 years ago. Eli is calm, patient, the kind of person who tries to solve problems instead of winning arguments. Which matters, because my parents don't do solve, they do comply. We had our daughter, Maya, 2 months ago. She's our first baby. She's tiny, still has that newborn smell and the scrunched up little face that makes you want to cry just looking at her. Becoming a mom did something to me. It didn't make me louder, it made me clearer. Because suddenly, the stakes were higher than my parents' feelings. Here's the context. Maya was born healthy, but like most newborns, she had a fragile immune system. Our pediatrician told us to be careful with crowds, wash hands, avoid sick people, and not pass the baby around like a party favor. Normal new parent stuff. My parents, however, took it personally. They acted like boundaries were insults. When Maya was 2 weeks old, my mom asked if she could kiss her face. I said no. My mom laughed like I'd told a joke and leaned in anyway. I moved Maya back and said firmly, "No kissing, doctor's orders." My mom's smile tightened. "Well, we kissed you and you survived," she said. That sentence became her favorite. When Maya was a month old, my dad showed up at our house unannounced with his friend from work. His friend had a cough. I asked them to keep distance from the baby. My dad rolled his eyes and said, "You're being dramatic." Eli, bless him, calmly said, "We're not taking risks." My dad said, "In my day, babies were raised in real life." So by the time December rolled around, I was already on edge about Christmas. My parents host Christmas Day every year. Everyone comes: my brother, my aunt, cousins, family, friends, loud house, lots of hugs, lots of people touching everything. My parents treat it like the Super Bowl. Eli and I decided we'd come, but with boundaries. We'd stay for a short visit. No kissing Maya. Hand washing. Maya stays with us, not passed around. If anyone is sick, we leave. I thought these were reasonable. My mom acted like I told her Christmas was canceled. She called me 3 days before Christmas and said, "I need to know if you're bringing the baby." I said, "Yes, she's part of the family." My mom paused, then said, "That's exactly why I'm calling." My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" My mom said carefully, "We've decided it's best if Maya doesn't come." I actually thought she meant because of germs, like she was suddenly being cautious. I said, "Okay. Do you mean you're worried about her getting sick?" My mom exhaled like I was slow. "No," she said. "We're worried about everyone else." I blinked. "Everyone else?" My mom said, "You have rules. You'll make everyone wash their hands. You'll make people feel uncomfortable. You'll be hovering. And then what? No one can hold her? No one can kiss her? That's not Christmas." I felt heat rise in my face. "It's not rules, Mom. It's medical advice." My mom's voice got sharper. "Then don't come," she said. "You and Eli can stay home with your little bubble. We're not going to ruin Christmas for the whole family over a baby who won't even remember it." "Over a baby. My baby," I said. "So you're banning your granddaughter?" My mom snapped, "Don't be dramatic. We're just saying it's better if she's not here." I hung up shaking. Eli came into the room and took one look at my face. "What happened?" I told him, and I started crying not because I was sad, but because I was furious, because my parents didn't even pretend this was about Maya's safety. It was about controlling me. Eli said quietly, "Then we don't go." And I wanted to say yes immediately. But the family guilt machine in my head started whirring. Christmas has always been the day my parents measure love in obedience. If we didn't go, I knew the backlash would be intense. But then I looked at Maya sleeping in her bassinet, tiny fist by her cheek, and the guilt shifted direction. If I went without her, what would that teach my parents? That they could exclude my child to punish me and I'd still show up. So I texted my mom. If Maya isn't welcome, neither are we. We'll stay home. My mom replied instantly. So you're choosing to punish the family. Punish? Again, like boundaries are punishment. Christmas morning, my phone rang at 7 a.m. My mom. I didn't answer. Then she texted, "We will allow Maya for 30 minutes, but you can't bring your rules." I stared at the screen. Allow. My baby. Like a guest pass. Eli read it over my shoulder and said, "No." I typed back, "No, she isn't a bargaining chip. We're staying home." An hour later, my dad called. His voice was cold. "So you're really doing this," he said. "You're keeping our granddaughter from us." I said calm, "You banned her." My dad snapped, "We did not ban her. Your mother said you'd be difficult." I almost laughed, "Because I won't let you kiss her." He sighed like I was exhausting. "Just come without the baby. Stop making everything about you. About me." I looked at Maya. I looked at Eli. And I realized my parents had already decided Maya wasn't a person. She was a prop, a tool, a thing they could use to control me. And the only way to stop that was to refuse. So we stayed home. We made cinnamon rolls. We watched Christmas movies. Eli took photos of me holding Maya by the tree. It was peaceful and sweet. Then, around noon, my brother texted, "Mom told everyone you refused to bring Maya because you think we're dirty. People are mad." I stared at the message and felt my stomach drop. Because I knew exactly what was coming next. My parents weren't just banning my baby. They were going to rewrite the story to make me the villain. And I was about to expose the real reason whether they liked it or not. 2 hours after my brother texted me, my phone started buzzing like it was vibrating off the table. First my aunt, then my cousin, then my dad again. I didn't answer most of them. I knew if I picked up, I'd get pulled into the same loop my parents always use. Talk fast, overwhelm, accuse, and make you explain yourself until you're exhausted and agree to just keep the peace. Eli watched me staring at my phone and said, "You don't have to do this today." I nodded, but my chest felt tight. It wasn't just anger, it was grief. Because I already knew the script. My parents would paint themselves as victims, and the family would rally around them, not because they were right, but because it was easier than questioning them. Then my mom texted a photo. It was a group shot from their living room, everyone smiling, wine glasses up, my parents in the middle like they were hosting a talk show. The caption she sent me privately was, "Look what you did. Everyone is asking where you are. Look what you did." Not "we miss you," not "are you okay?" Just, "Your absence is an embarrassment I'm blaming on you." I didn't respond. Then the family group chat lit up. Our family has a group chat that's mostly used for holiday logistics and random memes. It's run by my aunt, but my mom basically controls the tone. My aunt posted, "Merry Christmas, everyone. Sad Hannah couldn't make it." My mom replied immediately, "Hannah decided our house isn't clean enough for the baby." My stomach dropped. Because that was not what happened. Not even close. My mom didn't want to frame it as, "We banned the baby." She framed it as, "Hannah is insulting all of you." And within minutes, the chat turned into a pile-on. Wow, that's harsh. Babies need germs. Hannah's always been extra. So we're not good enough now? I stared at the screen, feeling that familiar pressure. Explain yourself, apologize, smooth it over. Eli sat beside me and said quietly, "If you respond, respond with facts." So I did something I'd never done before in that group chat. I told the truth clearly, without defending my tone. I wrote, "Mom told me Maya wasn't allowed to come because my rules would ruin Christmas. She offered to allow Maya for 30 minutes only if we dropped basic safety boundaries. If my baby isn't welcome, I'm not coming." Then I attached screenshots. My mom's messages, "We've decided it's best if Maya doesn't come. We will allow Maya for 30 minutes. But you can't bring your rules." The chat went silent for a full minute. Then my cousin texted, "Wait, she said allow?" My aunt replied, "That's not how I understood it." My mom responded with, "You're twisting my words." Twisting. The word people use when they're caught. I replied, Calm. Those are your exact words. Then my dad entered the chat. You're embarrassing your mother in front of everyone. Delete this. I felt my hands shake, but I kept my message up. My brother, who usually avoids conflict, finally wrote, Mom, that's not great. And that's when my mom flipped from victim to rage. She typed, Hannah has postpartum anxiety and is using the baby to control everyone. Postpartum anxiety. She used a mental health label as a weapon, in front of our whole family. Eli looked at me and said, That's the line. My throat tightened. Because yes, I had been anxious. I had a newborn. I was sleep deprived. But my boundaries were reasonable. And weaponizing that in public felt like a betrayal. I wrote back, Do not diagnose me in a group chat. Our pediatrician gave these guidelines. This isn't control, it's safety. Then I muted the chat. 10 minutes later, my mom called Eli. Not me. Eli. That was a tactic. She couldn't bully me into submission quickly, so she tried to go around me. Eli answered on speaker so I could hear. My mom's voice was syrupy. Eli, honey, I know Hannah is struggling. Can you bring the baby over? Just for an hour. Hannah can stay home if she wants. I felt my stomach twist. She was trying to separate me from my child the way she was trying to separate me from my boundaries. Eli stayed calm. No, he said. If Maya goes anywhere, Hannah goes too. My mom's tone changed instantly, sharper. So she's controlling you too? Eli replied, still calm. No, we are parenting. My mom scoffed. You're letting her ruin the family. Eli said, You're doing that yourself. My mom hung up. I should have felt proud of Eli, and I did, but mostly I felt this crushing sadness, because my mom wasn't just upset about missing Christmas with her granddaughter. She was furious. She couldn't control the situation. That afternoon, my dad showed up at our house. No warning, no message, just a knock like authority. Eli opened the door. My dad stood on the porch, hands in pockets, face tight. I want to see my granddaughter, he said. Eli stepped outside and closed the door behind him. I stood in the hallway holding Maya, heart pounding. I heard my dad say, This is ridiculous. Hannah is making everyone jump through hoops. Eli said, These hoops are washing hands and not kissing a newborn. My dad snapped. In our day. Eli cut him off. In your day, RSV and flu still existed. We're not debating it. There was a pause. Then my dad said, Lower. You're choosing her over family. Eli replied, She is my family, and this baby is my family. I felt tears sting my eyes. Not because I was sad, because I'd never heard anyone in my family speak that clearly about what family actually means. My dad raised his voice. Hannah is disrespecting her mother. Eli said, calm. Your wife disrespected your granddaughter. Then my dad did something that made my blood run cold. He said, If you keep this up, don't expect any help. Help. The help they always promised. Babysitting, gifts, money for emergencies? Support that comes with strings. Eli replied, We don't want help that costs our dignity. My dad left. I locked the door and sat on the couch shaking, while Maya slept against my chest like none of this existed. That night, my mom posted on Facebook. I wasn't tagged, but I didn't need to be. It was written like a public performance. Heartbroken. Some people used children as weapons, praying for my family. Comments poured in. People I didn't know wrote things like, Stay strong, mama. Relatives wrote, Love you. My mom's friends wrote, Kids are so ungrateful these days. Eli said, Do you want to respond? I stared at the post and realized something. Responding publicly would feed her. She wanted a fight she could frame as my breakdown. So I didn't reply publicly. Instead, I emailed my mom privately one sentence. You are no longer welcome at my home unless you apologize and agree to our baby safety rules. Then I blocked her for the night. I went to bed thinking maybe she'd cool down. Instead, I woke up to a message from my aunt. Your mom says she's going to call CPS because you're unstable. My stomach dropped through the floor. Because now it wasn't just drama. Now it was escalation. And I had a 2-month-old baby in my arms. When my aunt texted, Your mom says she's going to call CPS, I felt like my body forgot how to breathe. I'm not someone with anything to hide. Our home is clean, our baby is loved, Eli and I are stable, But the idea of strangers investigating you because your own mother is angry? It's terror in a sentence. Eli took my phone and read the text twice. Then he looked at me and said, calm but firm, "Okay, we stop treating this like family drama. We treat it like a legal threat." That was the first time it hit me that my parents weren't just being controlling, they were willing to weaponize systems to punish me. The next hours were a blur of practical steps. Eli and I did a home reset. Not because we needed it, but because if anyone did show up, I wanted zero stress. We made sure. The fridge was stocked with baby formula, supplies. We primarily breastfed, but we had backup. Diapers and wipes were clearly organized. Maya's sleep space was safe and visible. Our pediatrician contact info was on the counter. Immunization and newborn checkup records were printed. Then Eli said, "We need to document everything." So I created a folder on my phone called Christmas. Screenshots of my mom's texts, my dad's calls, the group chat, the Facebook post, the "allow her 30 minutes" line, everything. Eli also told me to write down a timeline while it was fresh. Date, time, what was said, who witnessed it. It felt absurd, like writing a report about my own mother. But the more I wrote, the clearer the pattern became. My parents weren't concerned about health, they were concerned about control. And when control didn't work, they escalated. I called my aunt back. Not to argue, just to clarify. "Aunt Lisa," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "did Mom say she's calling CPS?" My aunt sighed heavily. "She was emotional," she said. "That's not an answer," I replied. My aunt hesitated. "She said you're not well, and that you're keeping the baby isolated, and that Eli is controlling you." My stomach turned, so yes. My aunt said quickly, "I told her not to. I said it's extreme." "Did she listen?" I asked. Aunt Lisa went quiet. Then she said, "Your mom's been saying some intense things." Intense, the family's favorite word when someone is being harmful, but they don't want to say it out loud. I thanked my aunt and hung up. Then I called the one person I trusted to be blunt, my brother, Sam. Sam answered and said, "Before you say anything, Mom is going nuts." I exhaled. "She threatened CPS." Sam went silent. Then he swore under his breath. "She said that to you?" "She told Aunt Lisa," I said. "And she's telling everyone I'm unstable." Sam's voice got hard. "I'm going to talk to Dad," he said. "This is insane." "Be careful," I said. "They'll twist it." Sam laughed bitterly. "They always do." Then Sam said something that made me sit up straighter. "Do you want to know the real reason Mom didn't want Maya there?" he asked. My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" Sam exhaled. "Mom was complaining before Christmas," he said. "Not about germs, not about rules, about attention." I blinked. "Attention?" Sam said. "She said if you bring the baby, everyone will fuss over you. You'll be the main character. She said Christmas is her holiday, and she's not going to be overshadowed by a newborn." I felt my face go hot. This was worse than I expected, because it meant my mom didn't just view Maya as inconvenient. She viewed Maya as competition. I whispered, "Are you sure?" Sam said, "Hannah," she literally said, "no one will even look at my decorations if everyone's staring at the baby." I sat on the couch holding Maya and felt something crack in my chest. I'd always known my mom needed to be the center, but I didn't think she'd apply that to her own granddaughter. Eli sat down next to me and said, "What did Sam say?" I told him. Eli's expression didn't change much. He's not a dramatic person, but his eyes went hard. "That's sick," he said. "It's my mom," I whispered. Like I needed to remind myself. Eli said, "And this is our daughter." That night, my mom sent me an email from a new address because I'd blocked her number temporarily. Subject, "You need help." The body was a wall of text, half guilt, half accusation. She wrote, "I was breaking the family. I was keeping Maya isolated. I was punishing everyone. Eli was turning me against them. I was not mentally stable since birth. And she might have to get authorities involved." I stared at the email, shaking. It wasn't just a threat, it was a narrative. She was laying groundwork exactly the way people do when they want to be believed later. Eli read it and said, "We talked to a lawyer." The next day, we had a consult with a family attorney. We didn't want to sue anyone. We wanted to know how to protect ourselves if my mom tried something stupid. The lawyer told us 3 important things. CPS calls can happen for any reason, but false reports often get documented. The best defense is calm documentation and a stable environment. If someone is harassing or threatening, a formal cease and desist can help. Then she said something that stuck with me. Grandparent entitlement is real, but it has limits. That afternoon, my mom called from my dad's phone. I answered because I needed to know what she was doing. Her voice was sweet, too sweet. "Hi, baby." I didn't match it. "Mom, are you threatening to call CPS?" She sighed dramatically. "I'm worried about you." I asked a yes or no question, I said. She got sharp. "Don't speak to me like that." I said, "Then don't threaten my family." My mom's voice dropped. "You are isolating that baby," she said. "You're keeping her from people who love her." I said, "No kissing. Wash hands. Don't come sick. That's it." My mom snapped. "That's not normal, that's anxiety." Eli leaned in and whispered, "Speaker." I put her on speaker. Eli said calmly, "Hi. This is Eli. We're following our pediatrician's guidance." My mom's tone changed instantly. "Eli, I know you mean well," she said. "But Hannah needs help. She's not herself." Eli replied, "Hannah is doing great. We're not discussing her mental health as a weapon." My mom went quiet for a beat, then said, "So you're admitting she has mental health issues?" Eli said, "No, I'm telling you to stop." Then my mom said the line that made me realize she was willing to burn everything down. "If you don't bring the baby to me, I'll make sure someone checks on her." I froze. Eli said very calmly, "That's a threat. Do not contact us again except by email." He hung up. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped Maya. Eli looked at me and said, "We're done with calls. Everything in writing." That night, we sent a single email to my parents. "Due to your threats and refusal to respect basic newborn health boundaries, you are not welcome to visit. Any contact must be by email. Any threats to involve authorities will be documented." I expected fireworks. What I didn't expect was the message that came next from my grandmother. She wrote, "Hannah, call me. Right now." And when I called, Grandma said something that made my stomach flip. "Your mother told the family you banned Maya from Christmas because you were angry at them. That's a lie. And I'm not letting her do this." For the first time, someone in my family was choosing truth over my mom's comfort. And that was about to change everything. When Grandma said, "I'm not letting her do this," I felt something I hadn't felt since Maya was born. Relief. Not full relief because the situation was still a mess, but relief that I wasn't alone in my own family anymore. My grandma Rose is in her late 72s. She's not a perfect person, but she's the kind of matriarch everyone listens to. When Grandma says jump, the family asks how high because she's the one who held things together for decades. She told me to come over the next day. "Bring Eli and the baby," she said. "I'll make sure the house is clean and calm." I hesitated. I didn't want to put Maya in the middle of anything. But Grandma's house felt safer than my parents because Grandma wasn't trying to control me. She was trying to understand. Eli asked, "Do you want to go?" I said yes and surprised myself, because the truth is I wanted my daughter to be in a room where she was welcomed, not negotiated. We went to Grandma's around noon. Grandma had cleaned like the Pope was visiting. Hand soap at every sink, paper towels, even a sign on the kitchen counter that said, "Wash hands before holding baby." It was such a small thing, but it made my throat tighten. Grandma looked at Maya like she was sunlight. She didn't try to snatch her. She didn't ask to kiss her. She just stood close and said softly, "Hello, little one." Then Grandma looked at me and said, "Sit, tell me everything." So I did, calmly, chronologically. No exaggeration. I showed her screenshots, my mom banning the baby, allowing her for 30 minutes, the group chat smear and the CPS threat language. Grandma's face got stiffer with every screenshot. When she saw, "We will allow Maya for 30 minutes, she muttered, "Allow?" When she read my mom's email about authorities, Grandma's mouth tightened. "That's not concern," she said. "That's intimidation." I nodded, tears in my eyes, because having someone name it made me feel less crazy. Then Grandma surprised me by saying, Your mother has always needed to be the sun. Eli blinked. The sun? Grandma sighed. Everything has to orbit her. Holidays, birthdays, even funerals. God help us. If attention shifts, she panics. And when she panics, she gets mean. I swallowed. Sam told me she didn't want Maya there because she'd steal attention. Grandma didn't look shocked. She looked tired. She said something like that to me too, Grandma admitted. She said, if Hannah brings the baby, I won't even exist at my own Christmas. My stomach turned. So she admitted it. Grandma nodded once. Yes. Then Grandma said, I'm calling a family meeting. My heart started pounding. Grandma, I don't want... She held up her hand. This is not about drama, she said. This is about stopping a lie before it becomes family history. That sentence hit hard because that's exactly what my mom tries to do, rewrite events until her version becomes the official story. Grandma texted the family group chat and said, Everyone come to my house Saturday at 3. Important. People show up when Grandma says important. Saturday came. I didn't want to go. My stomach was in knots all day. But Eli reminded me, we're not going to argue. We're going to stand in truth. We arrived early. Grandma wanted us there first. Then family started showing up, my aunt, 2 uncles, cousins, my brother Sam, and yes, my parents. My mom walked in like she was entering a courtroom. Chin up, stiff smile, eyes already glossy like she'd prepared tears. My dad followed with his jaw clenched. My mom looked at Maya and then at me and said loudly, There's my baby. My skin crawled, because she meant her baby, not mine. Eli stepped slightly in front of me. Not aggressively, just present. Grandma didn't do hugs or small talk. She said, Sit down. Everyone sat. Grandma stood at the front of the living room like she was about to read a will. She said, I have heard 2 stories about Christmas. One is a lie. My mom inhaled sharply. Mom. Grandma cut her off. No, she said. You will listen. The room went dead quiet. Grandma turned to me. Hannah, tell them what happened. My heart was pounding, but I did it. Calm, short, clear. I was told Maya wasn't allowed to come because my rules would ruin Christmas. Then I was told Maya would be allowed for 30 minutes if I dropped safety boundaries. Then Mom threatened to have someone check on us if I didn't bring Maya. I paused and added, I have screenshots. My mom's face went pale. My aunt shifted uncomfortably. My cousin's eyebrows shot up. My mom said too loudly, That's not what I meant. Grandma said, Then what did you mean? My mom started crying. I was worried, she said. Hannah has been, not herself. She was being controlling. Grandma stared at her. Controlling is threatening CPS because someone won't let you kiss a newborn, she said. My mom's crying stuttered, like she wasn't expecting her own behavior to be named so bluntly. My dad finally spoke. This is ridiculous, he snapped. We love our granddaughter. Grandma turned toward him. Then why wasn't she welcome? She asked. My dad opened his mouth, closed it, then said, Because Hannah would make everyone uncomfortable. Grandma nodded slowly. So you chose adult comfort over a baby's safety, she said. My dad looked furious. It's not about safety, he said. And the second he said it, I saw him realize his mistake, because he'd just admitted what we all knew. Grandma leaned forward. Then what is it about? She asked. Silence. My brother Sam spoke up. Mom didn't want Maya there because she'd steal attention, he said flatly. The room went still. My mom snapped. That's not true. Sam didn't flinch. You said it, he replied. To me. My mom looked around the room, desperate, like she wanted someone to rescue her narrative. No one moved. Then my aunt said quietly, Did you really say that? My mom's voice rose. It's not like that. It's just every holiday becomes about Hannah's anxiety now. I felt rage flare, but Eli squeezed my hand. Grandma's voice went calm and deadly. Your granddaughter is not your competition, she said. My mom burst into louder tears. Everyone always blames me, she sobbed. And that right there was the switch, victim mode. But Grandma didn't soften. She said, This is not about blame. This is about boundaries. Then Grandma looked at the room and said, From now on, if anyone brings that man Greg into this family's business, or threatens CPS, or tries to shame Hannah for parenting, they are not welcome in my home." My mom's head snapped up. "Excuse me?" she said, offended. Grandma said, "You heard me." My dad stood up. "You can't do that," he snapped. Grandma said, "Watch me." Silence. My mom grabbed her purse and hissed, "Fine. If Hannah wants to destroy this family, she can." And she stormed out. My dad followed. The moment the door closed, the room exhaled. My aunt said quietly, "I didn't know it was that bad." My cousin said, "The allow the baby thing is insane." Grandma sat down, suddenly looking older, and said, "I'm sorry I didn't stop this sooner." I started crying, not dramatic, just tears slipping out because I felt seen for the first time in a long time. I thought that family meeting would end it. It didn't. Because when my mom loses control inside the family, she tries to regain it outside the family. And the next morning, she posted a new Facebook status, long, emotional, and very carefully worded. She didn't mention CPS. She didn't mention allow. She wrote, "I'm being erased from my own family and kept from my grandchild." And then she did the one thing I didn't expect. She tagged me, publicly, with comments already flooding in. When my mom tagged me publicly, my first instinct was pure panic. Not because I was ashamed of my boundaries, but because I know how internet dog piles work, especially when a parent plays the heartbroken grandma card. People don't ask questions, they react emotionally. I opened Facebook and saw her post already had dozens of comments. "That's so sad. Grandparents have rights. Kids today are so ungrateful. A mother should never be kept from her grandbaby." It felt like my mom had recruited an audience for a trial where I didn't even get to speak. Eli said, "Don't respond while you're angry." I nodded, but my hands were shaking. Because I realized, this wasn't just about Christmas anymore. This was about my mother trying to brand me publicly as unstable and cruel using my baby as a prop. And that's where the exposure question comes in. A part of me wanted to post screenshots and burn her narrative down in the comments. I had receipts, I could prove everything. But my lawyer consult from part 3 echoed in my head, "Don't create a public mess you can't control." And my therapist, yes, I scheduled one after the CPS threat because I needed support, said, "You don't have to prove your reality to strangers." So I chose the third option, a calm statement and a boundary. I commented once on my mom's post, "Mom, please do not post about my child publicly. We're following our pediatrician's guidance and setting basic newborn safety rules. You threatened to involve authorities when we said no. This is not up for public debate." That's it. No screenshots, no insults, just reality. Then I deleted my mom and restricted who could tag me going forward. Eli also locked down his accounts, because people love to swarm spouses too. Within minutes, my mom texted me from a new number. "Delete your comment. You're making me look bad." Making me look bad, not, "I'm sorry," not, "I miss you." Optics. I didn't respond. Then my dad texted, "You've embarrassed your mother enough, take it down." I replied one line, "Stop contacting me. All communication must be by email." I blocked the new number. That evening, I got a notification from Facebook. Someone had reported my account for mental health concerns. It was the kind of report you can file that triggers a "Are you okay?" prompt and resources. It wasn't dangerous by itself, but it was confirming what I already knew. My mom was trying to weaponize the idea that I was unstable. So I documented that too, screenshot of the notification, timestamp, everything. Then something happened that surprised me in a good way. My grandma commented on my mom's post. Grandma doesn't comment online often. She's not a Facebook warrior. So when she did, everyone paid attention. Grandma wrote, "I was present for this. The baby was not welcomed unless safety boundaries were dropped, and there were threats made. Hannah is a good mother. Stop harassing her." It was short, but it was the truth from the one person my mom can't easily dismiss. The comments shifted. People started asking questions instead of cheering. What threats? Why wasn't the baby welcome? Are you okay, Hannah? My mom deleted the post an hour later. Then she called me crying, actual sobbing like the world had ended. I answered because I needed to close this loop, and because part of me still wanted my mom to wake up. She said, I can't believe you turned Grandma against me. I felt a cold calm settle into my chest. Mom, I said, Grandma didn't turn against you. She stopped enabling you. My mom's crying turned into anger instantly. You're so self-righteous, she snapped. You think you're better than me because you had a baby. I almost laughed because it was so revealing. It's not about me, I said. It's about Maya. My mom said, you're keeping her from me. I said, you threatened CPS. My mom yelled, I was worried. I said, worried people ask questions. They don't threaten. Silence. Then my mom whispered, so what do you want? That question used to make me soften, because my mom trained me to manage her feelings. But I wasn't managing her anymore. I said, here are the conditions if you want to be in Maya's life. I spoke slowly, clearly, like I was reading rules to myself more than to her. No more threats. Ever. No more public posting about my child. No kissing the baby, wash hands, don't visit sick. No calling me unstable or accusing Eli of controlling me. If you break these boundaries once, we take a long break. My mom scoffed. So I have to walk on eggshells. I replied, no. You have to behave like a safe adult. She was quiet. Then she said, bitterly, your father won't do that. He thinks you're overreacting. I said, then Dad won't see Maya. My mom gasped, like I'd just committed a crime. You can't do that, she whispered. I said, watch me. There was a long pause where I could hear her breathing. Then she said quietly, I'll try. Tre. Not agree. Not apologize. Try. I told her the truth. Trying isn't enough if you keep blaming me. She started crying again and said, I did my best. And I said softly, I know, but your best doesn't get to hurt my daughter. We ended the call without a satisfying movie moment. No big apology, no sudden transformation. Just reality. Over the next 2 weeks, my mom behaved. She didn't post. She didn't threaten. She emailed instead of calling. Her emails were stiff, but not cruel. My dad, however, kept texting from different numbers, trying to pressure Eli directly, trying to guilt us. Eli didn't engage. He wrote one email, stop contacting us, respect our boundaries. Then we blocked him too. We invited my mom to see Maya for the first time since Christmas, but not at our home. We chose a neutral place, Grandma's house, with Grandma present. When my mom walked in, she looked nervous. She washed her hands without being asked. She didn't try to kiss Maya. She sat on the couch and held her like she was holding something fragile, not just the baby, but the relationship. She whispered, hi, sweet girl. And for a moment, I felt hope. Then my mom looked up at me and said, quietly, your dad is furious. I didn't react. I just said, that's his choice. Because that's what boundaries are. You stop negotiating with other people's emotions. After my mom left, Grandma hugged me and said, you did good. I cried, because I didn't realize how much I needed someone older to tell me I wasn't being cruel, I was being responsible. So here's my final update. My parents banned my 2-month-old from Christmas because they didn't want boundaries to disrupt their perfect day. Then they tried to smear me as unstable when I refused. I didn't scream. I didn't explode. I documented. I set conditions, and I stopped participating in the narrative. And it worked partially. My mom is on a trial period in our lives. My dad is not. It's not the happy ending people want, where everyone learns a lesson and hugs under a Christmas tree. It's the realistic ending. You protect your child even when it costs you comfort. Now my Aita question. Aita for leaving Christmas, exposing the truth with receipts in the group chat, and cutting my dad off when he kept escalating? Because my extended family is split. Some think I'm cold. Others think I finally did what they wish they could do. All I know is this. My daughter will never grow up thinking love means surrendering her boundaries. And if that makes me the villain in my parents' story, I can live with that. So, Aita for refusing to attend Christmas when my newborn wasn't welcome and for setting hard boundaries after the CPS threat? What would you do? If you want more Reddit-style stories like this, subscribe.